G'day furballs and welcome to this week's fur vlog. Now, I've been planning on doing this video for quite some time because I often get asked about certain things in regards to YouTubing as a furry. So I decided I'd combine all the questions all together and answer some of the top 10 tips to being a furry YouTuber. Now, I should also say at the start of the video that you don't have to be a fursuiter to be a furry YouTuber. There are tons of furries out there that are YouTubing without being in a fursuit. Just as a side note. I also want to make a really quick announcement here as well. I have reached 500 and something or other subscribers. And I say that because every time I check there's at least another 1 or 2 subscribers. There's 500 of you amazing furballs out there. And as always, I can't thank you all enough. But I would like to say that when I do reach 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing a special announcement as well as a special giveaway, which I'm still debating on the said giveaway, but I'm still another 400 and something or other subscribers away from that goal, but I just thought I would let you all know. Oh, and as a little side note, if you guys hear in some of my other videos, and also today, this really weird buzzing sound coming from outside, it's actually these really annoying insects called cicadas. And because it's such a really hot day today in Australia, they're just in the background being really noisy. So I apologise for that. Now the video. I've been planning on making this video for some time, and here are my top 10 tips to being a furry YouTuber. Number 1, always know what you're talking about. It's very important to at least have some form of research done on particular topics that you're going to be talking about. It also does help having a little bit of experience. As an example, fursuit dancing. If you're going to talk about fursuit dancing, you must at least have some form of experience in that area. Not as a dance teacher or anything, but how it feels to actually be inside of a costume and do a lot of dancing, especially a fursuit, because as you guys know, you've got to make a lot of movements and gestures that are going to look different in a fursuit than what it would outside of a fursuit. So always having that experience comes in handy, and it always lets your audience know that you actually know what you're talking about, which is really helpful a lot of the time. Not only that, but talking from experience and not copying other poppy furs on YouTube is really awesome. It'll give your channel a unique sense to it, and it will reel in viewers. But if you have decided to pick a topic and you don't know a lot about it, Google is your friend. In fact, this goes for almost everyone, furry or not. It's also really good on certain topics to get your friends and family's opinions. Getting a second opinion on what you're going to be talking about can be really helpful. You really don't want to be picking something that's going to be a sensitive topic, but I'll be getting to that topic part in a couple of seconds. Also, on another side note, just so you guys are aware, always make sure you have permission with using photos and certain sound effects, because the last thing you want is to get a copy in fragment on YouTube, especially if you're using artwork. Number 2, haters gonna hate. Let's face it, they're everywhere, in every single fandom that you're going to go to. Haters, that's right, haters. Those annoying 12-year-old kids that obviously like to take it a little bit too far on the internet by making some pretty rude and crude comments. In fact, a couple of weeks ago I was actually talking about this topic due to one of my videos getting really popular, and it received a lot of hate. Unfortunately, these haters will pick on the much more younger people on YouTube or anywhere on social media, and they will also pick on YouTubers that don't have a lot of viewers. The reason for this is because they get attention from you. So what do you do when someone's pestering you to get your attention and you don't want to give it? It's very simple. You have the power, the most powerful thing in the whole universe of internet website memeing stuff, to not only block, to delete these negative comments from any of your videos, which leaves a much more positive vibe on the videos with comments that are really nice and lovely. And you also have the power to block these haters. I say this because a lot of people have often said that they don't like the idea of blocking someone, because they themselves feel like they're being a little bit too much of a coward. But it's mostly because when they block that person gets all annoyed and upset and makes it a whole big deal and takes things way too far. So I just want everyone to know it's okay to block people and it's okay to delete negative comments. And it's one of the biggest things that I advise with haters. So there is legit no shame in doing that. I'm pretty sure a lot of other puppy furs out there do it as well. Not only that, but you don't need any more negativity in your life. Number 3, choosing a topic. Choosing a topic can be one of the most hardest things out when you are on YouTube. You have to think about what you're going to say, what you're going to do, and whether there's like a particular genre for that so-called topic. You definitely don't want to be talking about something that is going to be a very sensitive topic, and to be honest, it can take a very long time to come up with a topic. So you don't need to be rushing in ahead and making up all these different topics and doing 10 different videos a day. Take it slow, take it steady, get second opinions on the matter, think about the things that you can do to make it much more interesting, adding a little bit of humor and comedy, and go with the flow. With topics and where you want your channel to go, you do obviously have to look at particular topics rather than other ones. As a primary example, my channel is about fursuiting and the furry fandom. So that means I basically pick topics that are going to be in relation to the furry fandom and fursuiting. Basically tips and tricks on how to do things. Prime example is YouTubing. Whoa! Because if you didn't know, furries are blowing up on YouTube. And no, not literally. I just mean like, you know, they're getting a lot more popular. I really stuffed myself up there with that. Okay, box of shame. Another good thing is to brainstorm with your friends and family. Especially if you are in a fandom like the furry fandom where it's big, it has a lot of opinions, a lot of different topics. You can go onto forums and websites and things like that. Heck, you can even go onto Reddit and ask on there what topics would be really good to talk about. Number 4, writing a script. So like I mentioned before in picking a topic, once you have that topic, you need to write up some things that you want to mainly focus on in your video. You can make up little skits and things like that, but you need a script to make sure that you're going to follow that general guideline. Scripts actually help YouTubers go, okay, I've got this topic, I'm going to follow this. It does also help to make sure that you're not going to miss out on a particular thing that you want to bring up. It really does also help you to be much more prepared for your video, and kind of sort of think of scripts as palm cards. Like when you see the president going up to do his speech, he will usually have a piece of paper or some palm cards that he'll read from. That way he knows certain subjects to bring up and make sure that he doesn't miss out on those certain subjects or topics or whatever he's talking about. Let's face it, I don't think Donald Trump has any of these scripts, but the Prime Minister in Australia probably does. Maybe. But yes, scripts are very important to have. I highly recommend everyone to at least have one. You can always edit them, you don't have to make them up in a rush. And it does also help when you are editing after you've done the video. Which leads me to our next topic. Number 5, editing. When it comes to YouTube, one of the most important things that you see on almost every other YouTuber's videos is editing. Certain clips will be cut up and mix mash together, mistakes and bloopers and those sorts of things will be taken out. You can add in music to your background, like right now as you guys are listening, there's probably some interesting music going on, which also helps set the mood. Editing really helps captivate your audience. Primary example is when I do something really silly, I usually use a particular editing tool that zooms in really close on my face and kind of sort of draws the attention to the mistake that I probably made. Also, when you are editing and you make your stuff up, and you re-say that sentence or paragraph, you can go through editing wise, cut things up, take out the mistake part, and put it together. And by that point of time, once you've finished doing your editing, it actually looks like you're speaking with confidence. Because let's face it, no one wants to watch a YouTube video where you say a particular sentence and stuff. I mean, no one wants to watch a particular video and watch someone stuff up. Pretty much no one wants to listen to the same thing over and over again. Which leads me to the next one. Number 6, editing programs. This has to be one of the biggest questions any YouTuber probably gets asked. What type of program software are you using to make your videos? Some of these editing software programs can be very, very costly. As a matter of fact, almost every particular laptop, MacBook, Apple, whatever thing that you're using to make your editing will come with some sort of film editor. If you are using a program like Windows, obviously you're going to use Windows Movie Maker. And although it has changed massively over the years since I've used it, it's still really great to use. It may not be the most flashiest thing, but it certainly is something that will get the job done. And if you're starting up on YouTube, it's not a bad thing to start off with. But don't get me wrong, paying for a particular software that may be a little bit more expensive than the freer stuff does have its benefits. Now, the type of program I use is called Sony Vegas Pro. Sony Vegas Pro is really good for doing YouTube stuff. You can add in music into the background and you can actually change how loud it is. You can add in particular effects like bombs and other amazing green screen things, because I don't know what this green screen here is going to be, but it's going to be one of those awesome green screen things. You can change up the brightness and darkness and contrasting and things like that. There's also a lot more effects in the much more paid and expensive of programs, but, and yes, there is always a but, getting one of these programs is something that I would consider a later off thing when you have the money and you've saved up for it. So getting editing stuff and programs like that, I recommend taking it slow and steady at the first couple of years. Don't rush anything and just enjoy it. Number 7, movement and body language. Let's face it, if I stood here just like this and was just basically not even moving a single thing and I just stood here like, you know, a goddamn statue, like, how boring would that actually be? Like, usually in my videos I'm moving my arms around and I'm moving back and forth, I'm not always in one spot, but talking like this, I honestly can't do it. So when it comes to making a YouTube video, whether it's a skit or just talking like what I am doing right now, you always want to be moving. That way you can capture the attention of viewers. They understand where you're coming from, and when you're in a fursuit, well, you need people to sort of notice what you're doing because they can't see your actual face beneath the whole costume head part, and that's important. You also need to realize that certain movements will come off differently. For example, if I'm doing this right now, it probably looks like I'm a little bit shocked. It doesn't look like anything what I'm talking about right now. So moving your hands around and tipping your head and looking weird and cute and adorable and annoying for that fact is a wise idea. But how do you pull it off before you even pull out the recorder? Well, it's simple. Get in your costume, get yourself ready, do whatever you gotta do, your makeup and whatnot, and go and stand in front of a mirror. This is the best thing that I can actually do and tell you guys is when you're talking about particular subjects, you want to move in a particular way. If I'm talking about something really sad and really emotional, I sort of, you know, I'm like this, you know, you guys can tell I'm a little sad. I lower my voice to be a little bit more sadder and yeah, you know. But then I jump up and I'm like really hyperactive, my arms are moving around, you know, I'm really energetic. Those are the sorts of things that you really need to do. That way your viewers can go, wow, this is awesome, this is interesting. Or they can go, wow, they're really sad, wow, I feel sorry for them. Those sorts of things. So do whatever you gotta do to get ready for a YouTube video. Stand in front of a mirror and actually read through your script because that's really helpful before you do a video, and do particular movements to see how they actually turn out. The other thing is, if you have your camera, you can actually switch over the camera side view so that you can actually view yourself moving. Really helps as well. But body language is one of the biggest keys in doing a YouTube video. Number 8, ratings. Now, coming back to choosing a topic, I mentioned earlier about when you pick a topic, you need to know if it's sensitive, the genre, and ratings. And by ratings, I actually mean whether it's going to be something that's appropriate for children or not so appropriate. Almost every single movie and game out there actually has a rating, and that does also include doing YouTube videos. You need to know that some topics aren't going to sit very well with particular ratings. Let's say that you want to talk about the birds and the bees, but in a lot more explicit way. Obviously, that topic is not going to be G-rated. It's probably going to be like MA or something like that for a much more mature audience. So knowing what the ratings is going to be with that topic and whether it's going to sit well with your channel and where you want your channel to go is very important. A prime example is my channel. I usually tend to keep things as PG as possible. I don't swear, I don't talk about inappropriate things, and I definitely don't go into drawing things out and exaggerating them. I like to make it entertaining for all viewers out there. because at the end of the day, by the time I've uploaded this video, I don't know who's going to be watching it. It could be a 7-year-old little boy or girl sitting there watching me talk about how to YouTube, and I wouldn't know. So always keep in mind the rating that you're going to be having for your particular video. And in fact, you'll notice that some other YouTubers will actually make videos with the bracket marks of 18+. Number 9, timing and scheduling. These are some important things to keep in mind when you are YouTubing. And I've actually had to give this advice to a couple other YouTubers. When you make a YouTube video, you want to make sure when it goes out and whether it's going to sit well with you yourself. I mean, if you're going to do a video where you want a lot of comments, you want to know what's going on, you obviously want to make sure that that video is uploaded during a time when you can actually be active on your YouTube channel. I know when you get to the higher stakes of being a very famous YouTuber, that commenting and liking and all those sorts of things becomes a little bit hard, especially keeping up with 100,000 and something or other comments and likes and all those activities on your YouTube channel. But one of the important things that I want to get across here is that if you do 10 YouTube videos a day, don't upload them directly straight to YouTube. Take your time to edit them, revise them, and maybe upload 1 or 2 a week. The reason I say this is because personally I actually had to unsubscribe from someone that was uploading 20 videos a day. It certainly does become a little bit annoying when someone is uploading that many videos and you just go, can't you slow down? The other thing is that you'll burn out very fast and very quickly if you take 10 different topics a day, you upload them onto YouTube, and then come the next day, you only have a handful of topics to talk about. Don't limit what you can do in a YouTube video just for the views and the fame and all those things. There is also with scheduling a certain time that you can put up your YouTube videos where you know it's going to get a lot more views. Maybe it's from those amazing USA people who have been watching my channel a lot, and I know which time that they get up early in the morning before they have to head out and go to work or school, so I deliberately make sure that my video is uploaded at the correct time just for them. I also don't know why I did that accent, but I did. And also remember, when you're making YouTube videos, don't just do it for the money, do it for the fun and for sharing the information or whatever your channel is going to be about. Last but not least, number 10. The furry fandom always has your back. So you might have just started up on YouTube and you may not be all that popular, but let me tell you guys an awesome secret. The furry fandom is by far one of the most supportive fandoms out there. And you would be surprised as to how many furries are loving and caring. They want to get out there, they want to help people smile, they want to brighten up their day, they want to do as much as they can in the spare time that they have by volunteering, by getting donations and helping out organizations and raising awareness for them. And this comes into the YouTubing part of the video where no matter who you are, your age, your height, whatever, the furry fandom is always going to be very supportive towards you. If you're getting a lot of hate, the furries will be there to help you. I know that probably sounds really weird, but honestly, I have never met such amazing people until I've been in the furry fandom. They're kind, they're respectful. Just as long as you're a nice and respectful person, that's all that really matters. And when times get tough, you can always at least speak to someone in the furry fandom. And it's so awesome to have those people to make your own groups in the fandom and friendships. It's such an amazing fandom, honestly. They will always be there to help you through the toughest times. Now, I know this video is probably by far one of the longest ones I've done, but I do hope it has been really helpful for a lot of you guys out there that have been looking into getting into YouTubing as a furry. Like I said at the start of the video, you don't have to be a fursuiter to be a furry YouTuber. There are so many examples of people out there that are a furry YouTuber that isn't in a fursuit. And if you are interested in starting out your very first YouTube as a furry, I want you guys to all know that there's so much out there to learn, but it's also fun as well. And there's a lot of support as well. And there's also so many people out there that are not going to pick on you for the slightest thing, but rather encourage you and empower you to keep doing what you're doing. And I do hope that I have been able to answer a lot of the asks that I have been getting on YouTube from a lot of you guys in regards to how I do things as a YouTuber. And I owe you amazing furballs out there a very big thank you for the amazing support, the awesome questions that I often get, and just the whole love all around. But as is always, thank you guys for getting this far to the video, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!